Betsy, I never met my grandmother. She died before I was born. But she is as real to me as anyone I have ever known, thanks to the probably hundreds of stories that my mom told her about her when I was growing up. One of those stories involved the deathbed revelation that my grandmother had always known about one of my mom's high school escapades. My mom was a teenager in the 1940s, and as she walked to school in the morning, she would duck behind the tree to apply a scandalously dark shade of lipstick. It was all the rage among celebrities, but strictly forbidden by my grandmother. On the way home from school, she would wipe the lipstick off, and she always assumed that she had gotten away with it until her late 30s. As my grandmother lay dying of cancer, and my mother lay in the bed beside her, my grandmother took her hand, and with her very last breath, whispered, "I always knew about the lipstick." Now, my mother's own motto about storytelling was that if you can make a story better, you should. So it is entirely possible that the detail about it being my grandmother's very last breath was added later for dramatic purposes. But still, I knew the gist of the story was true. And so decades later, as my own mother lay dying of cancer, and I lay in the bed next to her, I fully expected her to clasp my hand and whisper, "I always knew about the hairspray." You see, when I was a senior in high school, it was customary to sneak a little bit of alcohol into the football games. Spike your hot chocolate. And I had devised a foolproof strategy for hiding my friends and my stash. I purchased a bottle of the cheapest, least reliable, most disparaged brand of hairspray, emptied it out, washed the bottle thoroughly, and filled it with vodka. It hid in plain sight on my bedroom dresser, just waiting for me to toss it in my purse on Friday nights. And it was such a terrible product that there was no danger that anyone would ever ask to use it. Until my mother came dashing into my bedroom late one Saturday morning. "Joan, I need to use your hairspray." "No," I yell out, but it was too late. She said, "We didn't raise you to be selfish," and she was circling her hair over and over and over again, pumping furiously, ensuring that every last strand of her Joan Collins dynasty-inspired hairdo was touched by the spray. Mom proceeded out the door, and I proceeded to call my friends for what I was certain would be my last opportunity for social conversation. "I'm dead. I'm dead. I'm dead. I'm going to be grounded for life. They're not even going to let me go to college." My mother had gone to a lunchtime board of directors meeting at the city's premier art museum, doused in vodka. And as if the ruination of her reputation wasn't bad enough in and of itself, this was Louisville, Kentucky in the 1980s. Half that boardroom was going to light up a cigarette. Between the size of Mom's coiffure and the amount of alcohol in it, I just knew that fire was going to be enormous. I sat there, contemplating the tragic loss of life, the destruction of priceless works of art, and my own resulting doom, I remember thinking that I needed to throw away the evidence, but I was too depressed to get out of bed. A couple hours later, I heard a rustle at my bedroom door, and there stood my mother. Her outfit was stylish, stunning, befitting the former model that she was. Her jewelry and her accessories were magnificent. Her makeup was perfect. Her hair hung in these unattractive, lifeless, dank clumps around her head. "Joan," she said, "there's something wrong with your hairspray." Seizing on high school drama club improv skills, I chimed right in. "Yes, and that's what I was trying to tell you earlier. I wasn't being selfish. I'm just going to toss that in the trash." We never spoke of it again. And even though I was holding her as she took her last breath, there was no dying declaration. After her memorial service, the family and very closest friends went to one of her favorite spots on the river for oysters and stories. And as day gave way to night, the oysters gave way to bourbon and cigars, and the stories got bigger and better as we competed with each other, trying to outdo one another in applying Mom's principles of storytelling improvement. And that's where I told this story for the first time to my nieces and nephew, finishing with a dramatic flourish, "And to this day, your Grammy never knew about the hairspray." "She does now," called out the youngest. I don't think that our departed loved ones can see what we do or hear what we say. Lord, I hope not. But I know that they are as present and real as they ever were on earth, as long as we tell their stories. And if we can make those stories better, well, we should. But in case you were wondering about this story, it didn't need any embellishment.